Greetings everyone, today I am going to give an introduction on illness behavior, before my colleagues explain on issues related to social stigma and illness behavior across cultures. Illness behavior refers to the way in which symptoms are perceived, evaluated, and acted upon by a person who recognizes some pain, discomfort or other signs of organic malfunction. The nature and severity of an illness is not the sole determinants of an individual's response, as it is influenced by social and cultural factors in addition to physiological condition. There are 5 stages of illness experience, which are: symptom experience, assumption of the sick role, medical care contact, dependent patient role, and recovery and rehabilitation. First I will explain on stage 1, which is symptom experience. The illness experience is initiated when an individual first senses that something is wrong, a perception of pain, discomfort, general unease, or some disruption in bodily functioning. 3 distinct processes occur at this time. 1. Physical pain or discomfort. 2. Cognitive recognition that physical symptoms of an illness are present, and 3. Emotional response of concern about the social implications of the illness, including a possible disruption in ability to function. The symptom experiences can range from sharp abdominal pain or high fever to mild symptoms or asymptomatic, as in early stages of cancer, that require special checkups to be detected in early stage. If the symptom is familiar, and the person understands why he has the symptom and what its probable course will be, he is less likely to seek care than if the symptom is unusual, strange, threatening, and unpredictable. Besides that, symptoms that are disruptive, and which cause inconvenience, social difficulties, pain, and annoyance are more likely to be defined and responded to. Anxiety about illness may prompt quicker care seeking, but fear of particular diagnoses may delay seeking help. While illness symptoms might be a central focus for some, family and work-related activities are more important to others. In addition, the costs of treatment, convenience of treatment, and the cultural and social accessibility of the provider have impact on the care-seeking decision. The second stage is assumption of the sick role, illness as deviance. If the individual accepts that the symptoms are a sign of illness and are sufficiently worrisome, then the transition is made to the sick role, at which time the individual begins to relinquish some or all normal social roles. Talcott Parsons, who introduced sick role in 1948, emphasized that illness is not simply a biological or psychological condition, and it is not simply an unstructured state free of social norms and regulation. It is also a social role, characterized by certain exemptions, rights, and obligations, and shaped by the society, groups, and cultural tradition to which the sick person belongs. Sickness is viewed as a type of deviant behavior in that it is a violation of role expectations, and is dysfunctional for society, with 2 explicit behavioral exemptions for the sick person and 2 explicit behavioral requirements. The exemptions are: the sick person is temporarily excused from normal social roles, and the sick person is not held responsible for the illness. The 2 obligations are: the sick person must want to get well, and the sick person is expected to seek medical advice and cooperate with medical experts. The third stage is medical care contact and self-care. It is the point at which an individual sought professional medical care. Access to care can best be understood by considering the general physical, political, and economic environment. Characteristics of the healthcare system, including healthcare policy and the organization and availability of services, and characteristics of the population, such as age, gender, attitudes about healthcare. There are 3 factors that influence the decision to seek care, which include the background of the patient, which includes age, gender, race and social class. For example, men often are more reluctant to see a physician, and many married men schedule an appointment only when pressured by their wives to do so. Second, the patient's perception of the illness, which includes perceived interference with vocational or physical activity, especially work-related activity, perceived interference with social or personal relations, an interpersonal crisis, a temporalizing of symptomatology, and pressure from family and friends, and third, the social situation. Even for pain that may relate to a serious condition, situational factors matter. Symptoms that begin during the week, rather than on the weekend, are more likely to motivate prompt contact with a physician. Self-care describes the broad range of behaviors initiated by individuals to promote optimal health, prevent illness, detect symptoms of ill health, heal acute illness, and manage chronic conditions. It includes obtaining information about health and illness, doing self-screening exams, managing one's own illness, including self-medication, and formulating clear goals and preferences regarding end-of-life treatment decisions. Although the term self-care implies an individual behavior, these practices occur within a social network and are very much influenced by family, friends, and cultural norms. The next stage is dependent patient role. With the onset of the dependent patient role, the patient is expected to make every effort to get well. Some people enjoy the benefits of this role because they can receive increased attention and escape for work responsibilities, as well as attempt to malinger. The severity of the illness, culturally influenced reactions to illness, the individual's coping ability, and the nature and extent of social support coalesce to determine the impact of the illness on the dependent patient. During this stage, there are 5 major concerns people have. 1. Impairments of personal cognitive functioning. Patients may be concerned that their illness will progress to a point that their cognitive functioning ability may be impaired or that medications will have a dulling effect on memory, reasoning ability, and capacity for communication. 2. Loss of personal independence. Many people deeply value their independence and appreciate it even more when it is threatened. Reliance on others may be a devastating thought, because of the inconvenience and, in a larger sense, the idea of becoming a burden on others. 3. Changes in body image. For patients whose illness creates any dramatic alteration in physical image, a major readjustment may be needed as they are more concerned on their body images than mental beings. 4. Withdrawal from key social roles. Because so many people derive their identity from their work, occupation, any disruption in work pattern or work accomplishment is very threatening, which can lead to extra emotional burden. Though withdrawal from key family responsibilities may be of paramount concern, along with anxiety about creating more work for other family members. 5. The future. Any chronic or serious acute condition creates questions about the patient's future and the extent to which there will be further incapacitation or physical or mental limitation, questions about financial indebtedness, and questions about permanent losses in daily activities. The last stage is recovery and rehabilitation. This final stage varies depending on the type of illness. For acute patients, the process is one of relinquishing the sick role and moving back to normal role obligations. For chronic patients, the extent to which prior role obligations may be resumed ranges from those who forsake the sick role to those who will never be able to leave it. That's all for my introduction on illness behavior. Thank you.